Mamataji, serving as a livelihood and inclusiveness coordinator at Swami Vivekananda Youth Movement. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to today's episode where we celebrate one more unstoppable achiever, Miss Anita Ravindra. SVIM is a development organization engaged in building a new civil society in India, serving over 3 million people in Karnataka through 40 plus projects, 7 institutions, 100 plus partners across the domains of health, education, socio-economic empowerment program, and training and research. This webinar is jointly hosted by SVIM's CCST program and Vivekananda Institute for Leadership Development, we lead. SVIM's Comprehensive Care Support and Treatment for Persons with Disability program, initiated in 2018, stands all 21 types of disabilities and engages with over 10,000 specially abled individuals in Mysuru and Kodagu district. WeLead's mission is to develop human and social capital for nation building by enhancing the potential of individuals and institutions across the development sectors. WeLead engages across 4 sectors: government, NGOs, corporates, and communities youths. Specially abled people face several issues, including accessibility, inclusion, and the inability to lead a barrier-free life. One of the ways in which a light can be thrown on these issues is by celebrating the amazing achievements of sunset of fantastic individuals from this group who have broken through the barriers and inspired not just people from their own group, but also all of us. This webinar is an attempt to bring some of these celebrities onto a platform where they can share their journey, their grit, determination, and the fire that burns within them that has made them into role model for all of us. I will now hand it over to Mr. Ramesh Venkataraman, Director of WeLead, to introduce our exceptional achiever, Miss Anita Ravindra. Over to you, sir.
A pleasure to have Anita Ravindra as our guest today. Anita is a postgraduate teacher in economics and former assistant HM and former HM of the demonstration school in CERT, Mysuru. Anita is an MA in economics, has completed her MD, MED, and Masters in Education, and also holds a postgraduate diploma in personnel management and industrial relations. She is also a certificate course holder in interior decorations and computers. She credits a large portion of her achievements to her late parents, besides, of course, her husband, Shri Ravindra, who will also be joining us for the conversation today. Anita has always been a hyperachiever, topping her studies, and has continued to be much felicitated and awarded in her career as a teacher, as well as best teacher by the Rotary, the All India Institute of Speech and Hearing, and so on. She was also recognized as a COVID warrior by the Government of India. Anita met with an accident when she was 6 years old, resulting in the loss of a left hand and subsequently a loss of hearing as well. She is an activist for women's issues, child rights, and for disability rights. Her motto is nothing is impossible, and always one needs to strive for the best. Anita and Mr. Ravindra, it's a pleasure to have you as our guests today.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. A very great pleasure for me also to join this elevated platform and be a part of this, what it can say.
So, as most people who have joined us today know, this is going to be in a sort of a conversation format. So I will ask you to start with the beginning. So you had an accident when you were roughly about 6 years old, as I understand it. So how did that change your life, and how did it affect the way you grew up into adulthood? If you could just tell us the story of that.
Okay, sir. As already you have informed, I had an accident when I was 6 years old. I came under a lorry. And because of that, I was in coma for 15 days. My hand had to be amputated. It could not be saved. And strong drugs were given to save my life, which resulted in gradual loss of hearing. That's why now I am profoundly deaf. Before I was not deaf. As to how it affected my life, you should remember that I had this accident when I was 6 years old. So I could not make out that impact so much, except maybe not having the hand. That time my hearing problem was not there. But then I did not feel that much of a impact because I lost my hand or anything, because the surroundings, my parents, my people around me, my classmates, my teachers, they were all very, very, very supportive. And of course, nowhere I felt any, that I'm like this or anything. Maybe when I could not participate in the running race in the school sports system, the teachers of that time, that was when I was in third standard, they decided that since I cannot participate in the running race, I may as well join in some sports, and they included musical chair only for my sake. And of course, musical chair, I always used to come first. Of course, no partiality. There was very much there, but that is how the teachers were at that time.
Which school was this? Was it in Mysuru itself? School. Which school was this?
So actually the school which I studied after my accident took place in Belgaum. Then we had to shift over to Bangalore because I had to undergo extensive skin grafting and all that. So my leg had lost its skin. So after that, I was put into one school called Nalanda English Primary School in Jayanagar. And my parents decided not to expose me to any danger. So my school was right opposite to my house. So Nalanda English Primary School is where I joined when I was in second standard. And then I was put back to first standard because I forgot. But what we should understand is those the two teachers of that school, Mrs. Javeda Begum and Mrs. Akila Khatun, they went out of their way. They would come home. I mean, they come to the school even during the holidays and make me to learn everything back. And by the time I came to third standard, I was quite competent and I was double promoted to fifth standard. Nowadays, we talk about inclusive education, diversified education and all that. But that time in 78, 79, nothing was there like that. And those teachers were marvelous, just marvelous. Nowadays, I do not find that type of empathetic attitude among the current generation. But Nalanda English Primary School, some name has now been changed. It has been collaborated to another school, which I'm currently not aware. And then I went to Raichur. There I studied in St. Mary's Convent. Then I came to Ballari. That was where my overall education took place in St. Philomena's High School till 10th. So till my degree, I was in Ballari. Then I did my master's in MA Economics in Bangalore. My MA from Annamala University. And right now I'm completed my PhD. I have submitted my thesis and waiting for Viva.
So I should have called you Dr. Anita. I didn't because
Shortly.
Your bio didn't mention that. So.
That is mainly to fulfill my mother's dream. Right. I'm doing this to fulfill my mother's dream. She was the architect of my life.
Right. So, no, when I went through your bio also, in bio ಓದಿದಾಗ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀರಾ that a large portion of the credit ನಾನು ನಮ್ಮ parents ಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ. And you now mentioned that your mother was the architect. That's a nice word to use.
Yes.
That, because most of us we tend to sculpt our lives, or we credit somebody who sculpts our lives for us. So, how did your mother play the role? What role did she play?
Sir, actually, when I had my accident, before like that, I would like to tell you that I was a pet of my father. So when I had my accident, my mother was also working as a nurse in the government hospital in Belgaum. So like I said, when I had my accident and I was brought to the hospital, my father was in and out of consciousness, seeing me on the bed like that. It was my mother who took care of everything. She was a strong lady. In fact, she gave a part of her skin also for the beginning, initial stages of covering my leg skin because it was completely wiped out. So the initial skin grafting was done by her thighs. But more than what she did physically, it was the sense of confidence which she instilled in me. And to be very frank, till I got exposed to various discriminations after some age, that is after I started working, never in any way I felt that I was a disabled person. No. I had super confidence in myself. In fact, I used to take leadership roles and all that. And if I'm having a strong voice to take over injustice being meted out to me, it is my mother. My father also had played a very important role But it was my mother who in no way made me to feel conscious that I'm like this. Usually what happens whenever any parents find that child is disabled, they become heartbroken. And then when I came to my 10th standard, I discovered that I was having hearing problem. Okay, my dad was shattered. I was also feeling very bad, but not my mom. And it was my mom who helped me to come in so many ways, individually, intellectually, spiritually, emotionally. And if I'm strong in all these areas, it is because of my mom. And unfortunately, she's not here with me now. She passed away due to cancer in 2015. I really miss her. And it was her dream that I should become a doctor. So in this way, I'm fulfilling her dreams of becoming a doctor. I hope she'll be very happy to when I get that, that title.
ಹೌದು, she will be very happy. That's no two ways about it. ಮತ್ತೆ ನೀವು ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ, ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರಿಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನೀವು ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ಹುಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ತರದ್ ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಬಟ್ ಯು ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಹಿಂಟೆಡ್ ದಟ್ ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಂತರ ನೀವು ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರಿಮಿನೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ದಂಗೆ ನನಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತು ನೀವು ಮಾತಾಡಿದಾಗ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ವರ್ ದ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಫೇಸ್ಡ್ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ಹುಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಷ್ಟಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಫೇಸ್ಡ್ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಗಾಟ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ದ, ಡು ಐ ಅಸ್ಯೂಮ್ ದಟ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದ ಮೇಲೆ ಆ ತರ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್ ಶುರು ಆಯ್ತಾ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಯಾವಾಗ ನಿಮಗೆ?
ಸರ್, ಓದ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರಿಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಏನು ಫೇಸ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಐ ಡಿ ನಾಟ್ ಫೇಸ್ ದಟ್. ಇಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಒನ್ ಥಿಂಗ್, I was very good in playing shuttle badminton. Very good. Okay. And I was, in fact, I would defeat almost everybody. But unfortunately, I was not considered to, represent the college and all that, because for them, I was definitely able. That is the only drawback that I have faced. But even when I got my job, I did not face any discrimination because I was good in my studies. I have very good scores in all my subjects and all. And of course, I have a little bit confidence also in facing the people and all. I do not let others' taunts or anything stop me from that. But till I came to my workplace, I was never exposed to the type of mentality a few people will have. When I joined first, in 1991, I joined. One of the person who saw me, and in fact, he became my major harasser later on. He nicknamed me as, like, he went and told some of his colleagues that they have recruited one new economics teacher. She's a fully damaged good. Sampurna halada vastu. That was when I realized like what type of society we are living in. But I have a very strong spirit. I do not let others' comments and all that bring me down. And there is one more thing. I have hearing problem. So I will not listen to what others say. I myself have heard it. Yes, they are telling like that. Yes, I will take action. But at that time, I did not go because it is some people's mentality to keep cribbing, talking, taunting, and all that. But then from 2012, it became too much because of this. Disability discrimination, sexual discrimination. And worst is that most of the people in the society could not fathom that I, with like my so-called colleague said, fully damaged good, was able to marry such a handsome man here without any dowry or anything. Of course, ours is a love marriage. But that could not be tolerated by the people that with such a fully damaged good, this guy is marrying her. So there were quite a lot of comments. I'll come to it slowly. But in 2012, this person and one more person's disability harassment, sexual harassment became so much. Let me tell you one thing, sir. All of us have some problems. So when you are not able to do some work, we'll give an excuse. Suppose you are having a headache, you say, I cannot do this work. Or you are having diabetes, you say, I have this, I cannot go out of station. Same way, I also have my restrictions. But that doesn't stop me from doing most of the work. If I'm not able to do that, I will do the other work. For example, excursion. I am not a proper person to accompany the students to excursion because I myself will need taking care. I can't climb the bus and all that. But I ensured that I would get the buses and all that. I would book the buses like that, I would do. But if I say I cannot come, she's taking advantage of her disability. I don't. In fact, I want more and more work to be given, not because I'm a super person, because I want to prove that I'm able to do. I can do. Like there's lots of disability harassment took place and sexual discrimination. I may be disabled.
So when they talk of inclusion, so today the buzzwords are DIE. What is it that people can? What is it that you must even be ready to die for?
Sir, we talk about inclusion only in paper.
Include. So
in reality, it is not there.
Can we also can we also look at? I take your point, Anita, in terms of the kind of things that you've faced, and those are experiences that only you have faced. So in the sense that those are things that only you can intimately relate to. All of us can empathize with you, but we really do not understand how much that you have gone through and how you've been able to break through. So our empathies and all of that completely with you in terms of because we can realize how difficult it can be when you have policies as well as rules and the talk of inclusion, the talk of equity, the talk of and all of these things, but acceptance, tolerance, and all of those things. But when you see those things by not being practiced, but I'm sure there were also a few positive stories that came out of all of this. While there was a person, or there were groups of people who perhaps harassed you or discriminated against you, where they also can you also share some stories of how some people went out of the way perhaps to help you and support your growth and all of those things?
In this, I can really say before 2012, almost all my people, my superiors, everybody was super. In fact, the principals of the college, the dean, everybody was super. And my guide who is helping me to do my PhD, Professor Kalpana Venugopal, she was one of the best. She also was in charge of the school for a few years. But she was the one who went out of her way to ensure that there is no sort of discrimination in any way. In fact, I do not have any complaint because I know very well how much everything has come in, because a few rotten apple will spoil the whole basket of apples.
Correct.
So because of these two people, I do not want these others to be discriminated. They've done very well. But I have not been, appreciated in the way it should be done. I mean, for example, if I do a work, I'm not asking for praise. Allow me to do it. When I do that work successfully, then it comes off in the minds of the people, that type of lady has done that, then now they want to do that work. The work which they never used to take before, now they want to do because I have proved it. Maybe if I'm inspiring them to do that, it's really good. But almost all my colleagues have been very good. I have not faced that problem. It is only this I raised a voice. I raised my voice against the injustice that has been meted out. And for that, now I'm getting harassed and harassed and harassed. Yes, there are quite a lot of success stories outside. But let me tell you a fact. A person, a woman especially, I think some of these people, whoever are women, will empathize with that. When a woman raises her voice, definitely she is harassed. And a woman like me raises the voice, it is still more harassment. My disability harassment, my sexual harassment has been proved true. And the judgment order has come from the State Commissioner of Differently Abled and even from the State Commission for Women. Everything has been proved true. But do you know why I am disheartened now? This judgment orders came 6 years back. And still not one order of that has been implemented. Not one. But in another way, I've been very fortunate. I've been able to participate in the, our NCRT staff sports meet. I've been able to participate from that. And there I have got good exposure. But other than that, from the past few years, it has been a better experience for me.
I just have this question is for actually Mr. Ravindra. And So thank you for joining us. I think you had said that you would be there, and I think so. So tell us, share some of your own experiences in terms of how this journey has been for you, because I'm sure it's not been easy for you as well, in the sense that these are decisions that one takes, and these are things that one takes. So where did you find the mental strength, and where do you continue to find the mental strength to continue and do, and from where does this whole thing come from? How did all of this happen? So,
It all started. It all started. Basically, I'm a sports person, former state cricketer. It all started in a cricket match. She had come to watch the cricket match. There, one of my friends told me, she was asking, she was ragging actually. He said, we don't have any player. We have only one player. We thought Mush was playing there. Then he introduced Anita to me. And I thought that she is a very good educated. She is educated, basically educated. I never felt that she is physically challenged or anything like that. I went and spoke to my mom and brother. Then they said, you are a state cricketer. Sometimes you'll have to take her to some function. I said, I don't mind. See, if I would have married a normal girl, if anything would have happened, we would have lived together, no? So I don't have anything. Actually, to be frank with you, she is our role model in our family. And she is a very strong lady. And she can do what once she decides, I want to do this, definitely do that. We've been married from past 31 years.
31 years.
31 years.
Yes,
We don't have any problem. In the house also, she is a normal lady. Always she encourages. I'm a state cricket selector. I go to cricket selection. She will be alone. She will manage everything. That if it is 1 or 2 days, okay. It will be minimum 1 month or 2 months. One day I'll come, I'll go back to Bangalore. I go to Bangalore, Hubli, Dharwad, everywhere. So for me, she is a normal lady. I don't have anything. She is a very strong lady. And whatever she decides, definitely she will do that. I really love her. We'll be like that. Thank you.
So let me just contribute to this. In all my various problems that I have been facing, Ravi has really been a major pillar of support for me. And he has supported me for everything in whatever I have faced. And I hope it will continue.
I'm guessing that you are an all-rounder, right?
Yeah.
Batting and medium pace, is it? Is that what?
Yeah, fast bowler. Basically, a fast bowler.
Right.
I'm the first captain.
No. The moment you said the state cricketer Ravindra, I immediately made the connection. I've been a keen cricket follower, so I quickly made the connection.
To be frank with you, I'm the first captain for Jagal Srinath.
Right. Yes. So in fact, we have had a conversation with Srinath also once. In one of our programs, we had Jagal Srinath also join us.
Usually, if you tell Ravindra, they don't know. If you tell Putti, immediately they will tell, yes, I know. The boys, they will call me Putti sir only.
Sir, he is a person who is very well known to anybody. You go to Sahara Desert also, you will find 4 friends known to him. It's so popular.
Mamta, you had a couple of questions.
Yes, sir. I have
I think Mamta had a couple of questions. I just wanted to ask, let her ask.
Yes, Anita ma'am. As you know, education is the most powerful weapon which we can use to change the world. So ಇವಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಕಡೆ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಸಿವ್ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಈಚ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್. ಸೊ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಸಿವ್ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಶಾಲೆಯನ್ನ ನೀವು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಸಿವ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀರಾ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಡೆಮಾನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಶಾಲೆಯನ್ನ. ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನ ನೀವು ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಿದೀರಾ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್?
ಮೇಡಮ್, ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಸಿವ್ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋ ಹಾಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ಏಬಲ್ಡ್ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ನಮ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ is one of the school which has more number of differently able than anybody else. We have nearing 25 children. Adali learning disability ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ, hearing disability ನೂ ಇದೆ, physically challenged ಇದೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ autism ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದರ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಈಗ ವೀಲ್ ಚೇರ್ ಮಾಡೋದನ್ನ ರ್ಯಾಂಪ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಬಟ್ ಲಿಫ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ನೂ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಸ್ಲೋಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಈ ಮೇನ್ ಡ್ರಾಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಏನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಎಜುಕೇಟರ್ ಬೇಕು, ಬಟ್ ನಾವು ಸ್ಪೀಚ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಹಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಕೊಲಾಬರೇಷನ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಓವರ್ಕಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾನು ಐ ಆಮ್ ದ ಇನ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್ ದಿಸ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ಏಬಲ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಮೈ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್. ಸೊ ನಾನು ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಜೊತೆ ಇಂಟರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನೇನು ಸ್ಕಾಲರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ CBSE ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನೇನು ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅವಾಗ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅಪ್ಡೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ. ಮತ್ತೆ CBSE ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋ ಇದ್ರ ಪ್ರಕಾರನು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಕೂಲಲ್ಲಿ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಕೋಆಪರೇಷನ್ ಇದೆ ಮೇಡಮ್, ಚೆನ್ನಾಗೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಕ್ಕಳು. ಏನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇನ್ಫ್ರಾಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರಲ್ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಬೇಕು, ಅದು ಸ್ಲೋಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಇಷ್ಟು ಇನ್ಫ್ರಾಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಮೈಸೂರಿಗೆನೆ ಇದು ಮಾಡೆಲ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ಹೌ ಮೆನಿ ಚಿಲ್ಡ್ರನ್ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿಂಗ್ ದೇರ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್?
Madam, we are nearly having around 800 students that starts from LKG onwards till 12th one. And illa ashtu idralli serskonಡ್ರೆ we have around 20 to 25 students who are differently able.
Wow, great ma'am. Yes, inclusive education might become a big challenge to all teachers. So teachers ಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಜೆಷನ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಸಿವ್ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ವಿಚಾರದಲ್ಲಿ?
ಹೌದು ಮೇಡಮ್, ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ನಿಜವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇದೆ. ಮೇನ್ ಏನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಸಿವ್ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಅಂತ ತುಂಬಾನೇ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಬರ್ತೀವಿ, ಬಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ ಕೊಡೋರಿಲ್ಲ. ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಜೊತೆ ಈ ತರ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಜೊತೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಇಂಟರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಇವಾಗ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಹಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಇಂಪೇರ್ಡ್ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಅವರು ಯಾವ ಕಡೆ ಸೀಟ್ ಕುತ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಇದು ನನ್ನ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ನಾನು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಬಲ್ಲೆ, ಅವರು ಅದನ್ನ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್, ಐ ಮೀನ್ ಅರ್ಜೆಂಟ್ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ ನೀಡೆಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ದೀಸ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ as to how they have to incorporate, I mean how they have to interact with these students. ಇದು ತುಂಬಾನೇ ನೀಡ್ ಇದೆ. ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಎಕ್ಸಲೆಂಟ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಕೂಲಲ್ಲಿ. ಬಟ್ ಅವರು ಬೇಜಾರು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದೇನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಜೊತೆ ನಾವು ಹೇಗೆ ಇದು ಮಾಡೋದು, ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ಬೇಜಾರಾಗಬಾರ್ದು, ಇವ್ರಿಗೂ ಬೇಜಾರಾಗಬಾರ್ದು. ಇದು ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಡ್ರಾಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಇದೆ. ಬಟ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ದರ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮೇಡಮ್, ತುಂಬಾನೇ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ.
Yes, really great ma'am, hats off to those teachers.
Actually, madam, to be very frank, ಬೇರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಗಿಂತನೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಕೂಲಲ್ಲೇ actually we have more differently abled children, which is a fact. I'm very proud of my school.
ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಇದರ ಡೆಮಾನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆನೇ ಒಂದಿತ್ತು ನನಗೆ. ಒಂದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಟಾಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಷನ್ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಈ ತರ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕ್ವೈಟ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್ ಟು ಡೂ, ಇದು ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಬೇರೆ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ಲಿ ಓನ್ಡ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಈವನ್ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇದು ಅಷ್ಟು ಬ್ರಾಡ್ ಬೇಸ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಡೆಮೋಕ್ರಟೈಸ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಹೇಗೆ? ಅದನ್ನ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎನಿ ಥಾಟ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಹೌ ದಿಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಡನ್, ಹೌ ಆಲ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿಕಮ್, ಐ ಮೀನ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಸಿವ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಪದಾನೇ, ದ ಹೋಲ್ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಸಿವ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ಸಮ್ ಸಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ಲೂಷನ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತಾನೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ. ಅದರಿಂದ ನಾವು ಮೋರ್ ದೆನ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಸಿವ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಮೇಕ್ ಆಲ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಸ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ಲಿ ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ. ಇದನ್ನ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಇದೇ ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಮೇಕ್ ಆಲ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಸ್ what you said, disabled friendly, whatever you want to call it, or just make it a part of the entire infrastructure and education delivery model itself.
Sir, to be very frank, reality ನೀವು ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ you do not have that many different abled in the private schools. ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋ ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ, which I personally know because of some experiences I have faced, ಆ ತರ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಗೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ they are discouraged. ತುಂಬಾನೇ ಡಿಸ್ಕರೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಆದ್ರೆ ಈ ತರ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಆ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಗೆ ಬರ್ದೇ ಇರೋ ಹಾಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು, ತುಂಬಾನೇ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಗೊತ್ತು. ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ರೀತಿಲಿ, ಬೇರೆ ರೀತಿಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸರ್, ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಕೂಲಲ್ಲೂ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಏನು, ವಿ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ ಬ್ಲೈಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಇನ್ಫ್ರಾಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಬ್ಲೈಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ಏನೇನು, ನಮ್ಮ ಟೀಚರ್ ಒಬ್ರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಮ್ಯೂಸಿಕ್ ಟೀಚರ್ ಸಿಯಾನಾ ಬರ್ನಾಡಿ, ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಆಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಶಿ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜಸ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್. ಬಟ್ ಅನ್ಫಾರ್ಚುನೇಟ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಲೈಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಕೋಪ್ ಕೊಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಫ್ರಾಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಆ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆನೂ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಇನ್ಫ್ರಾಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಇಷ್ಟು ಇದಿದೆ, ಅಷ್ಟಿದೆ, ದುಡ್ಡು ಇಷ್ಟಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ರಿಯಾಲಿಟಿ, ಅದು ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೇನೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗೋದು ಸರ್. ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ನಾನು ಎರಡು ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ನೋಡಿರೋದು, ಬಟ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ನೋಡಿಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ನು. ಒಂದು ಆಲ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಪೀಚ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಹಿಯರಿಂಗು ಎಲ್ಲಾ ರೀತಿಲೂ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಇದೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ರಿಯಲಿ ಕಮೆಂಡಬಲ್. And even JSS Polytechnic for differently. But school structurally ನಾನು ಅಷ್ಟು ನೋಡಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ಅಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಒಂದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸರ್ಗೂರಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಹೊರತು ರಿಯಾಲಿಟಿ ಸ್ಕೂಲಲ್ಲಿ ಅಷ್ಟು ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ಅದು ಮಾಡ್ಲೇಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತ, ಅದು ಯಾವಾಗ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ನಾನು ಒಂದ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಕೇಳಿ ಸರ್, ನಾನು ಇಷ್ಟು ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಎಲ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಇಂಟರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಅಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಅದು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಅದೇ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಐ ಕೇಮ್ ಇನ್ ಎ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್. ನಾನು ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಮಾಮೂಲಿ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಹೋಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಟರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಮಾಮೂಲಿ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಜೊತೆ ಇಂಟರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಯು ಲುಕ್ ಅಟ್ ಮೀ ಆಸ್ ಹೌ ಐ ಆಮ್ ನೌ. ನೀವು ಅದನ್ನ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನ ಈಗ ಕಲಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಸಿವ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ, ರಿಯಾಲಿಟಿ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಸಿವ್ನೆಸ್ ಟು ಎ ವೆರಿ ಲಾರ್ಜ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ದೇರ್. ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಿ ಸರ್, ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತ್ ನೀವು ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಆಯ್ತಾ, ಈಗ ವೀಲ್ ಚೇರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಗು ಇದೆ, ನೀವೇನ್ ಗೇಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನ್ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್, ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ಆಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಆಸೆ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ ಸರ್, ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಲಿ ನಾವು ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಥಿಂಕ್ ಓವರ್.
ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್. ಯಾಕೆ ನಾ ಇದನ್ನ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ವೆನ್ ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಇನ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಜನರೇಷನ್ ಇರೋ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲೂ ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ ಇವಾಗ ನಾವು ಡಿಸೇಬಲ್ಡ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋ ಪದಾನೇ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ತಪ್ಪಾಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಇವಾಗ ಅವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಡಿಸೇಬಲ್ಡ್ ಅಂತಾನೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ, ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ಏಬಲ್ಡ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಮಕ್ಕಳು ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆಯಲ್ಲೇ ಓದ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಲ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಚಿಲ್ಡ್ರನ್ ಹೂ ಆರ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಲೈಕ್ ಟು ಕಾಲ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ಏಬಲ್ಡ್ ಆರ್ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್, ಆ ಥರ ಇರೋರು ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆಯಲ್ಲೇ ಓದ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಬಟ್ ನೌ ಇಟ್ ಸೀಮ್ಸ್ ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ ದಟ್ ಹಸ್ ಚೇಂಜ್. ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಸ್ ಇರಲಿ, ಈವನ್ ಮೆನಿ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಆ ಥರ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ನೋಡೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಏಬಲ್ಡ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಒಂದು ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆನ್ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಡೂ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಷನ್, ಬೇರೆ ಸೆಪರೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಷನ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಇದನ್ನ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೋ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಅದರಿಂದ ಹೌ ಡು ಯು ಥಿಂಕ್ ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್ ಅಂತ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಕಾರ? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅಸ್ ಟು ಅಗೇನ್ ಡೆಮೋಕ್ರಟೈಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಹೋಲ್ ಆಕ್ಸೆಸ್?
Sir, we can do it. For example, let me just ask you. When, see, we are human beings, but we are a little bit in a different category because we are differently able. Okay? ಈಗ ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಕೈ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಬಟ್ ನಂದು ಒಂದು ಕೈ 10 ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. 10 ಕೆಲಸ, ಈ 5 ಬೆರಳು 20 ಫಿಂಗರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಆಯ್ತಾ. ಇವಾಗ ನಾನೊಂದು ಚಾಲೆಂಜ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ. ಒಂದೇ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪೇಪರ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು, ಸ್ಕೇಲ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು, ಪೆನ್ಸಿಲ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಒಂದು ಲೈನ್ ಹೇಳಿ, ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಲೈನ್. ತುಂಬಾ ಕಷ್ಟ,
ಎರಡು ಕೈಯಲ್ಲೇ ಕಷ್ಟ.
ಆಯ್ತಾ, ನಾನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ನಾನು ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ದೇವರು ಒಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಬಟ್ ಬೇರೆ ರೀತಿಲಿ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಎನೇಬಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಏಬಲ್. ಆ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಜನರು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಆ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ರೇಡಿಯೋ ಟಾಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾಗ ಅವರು ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋರು ಸ್ವಸಾಮರ್ಥ್ಯ ನೋಡಿ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಇದೇ ಕೆಲಸ. ಬ್ಲೈಂಡ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬರೀ ಮ್ಯೂಸಿಕ್ ಆಡ್ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಏನಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಬ್ಲೈಂಡ್ ಆಗಿರೋರು ಒಬ್ರು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಕೂಡ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ನೋಡಿ ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ. ಬಟ್ ನನ್ಗೆ US ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಫುಲ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಇದೆ ಸರ್. ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಲೇಬಲ್ಡ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದೇ ಡು ನಾಟ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ದೆಮ್ ಆಸ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಶೋ ಪಿಟಿ ಆರ್ ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್. ಮೈಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ಏಬಲ್ಡ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡಿಸೇಬಲ್ಡ್ ಅವ್ರ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಅಂಗವಿಕಲ, ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಪಾಪ ಅವ್ರಿಗೇನೂ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಈ ತರ ಅದು ಅವ್ರ ಕಸದ ಸಮಾನ. ನನ್ಗೊತ್ತು, ನಾನು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ವರ್ಕ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಾನೇ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಬಟ್ ನಿಜವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಸಿವ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸೊಸೈಟಿದು ಮೈಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ ತುಂಬಾನೇ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಸರ್, ತುಂಬಾನೇ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಅಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಅದು ಡೆಮೋಕ್ರಟೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಡೆಮೋಕ್ರಟೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅದು ಬರೀ ಪೇಪರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ.
ಎಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ. ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಸಿವಿಟಿಗೆ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಹೇಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೋ ಅದೇ ತರ ಆಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡಲ್ ಇದು ಕೂಡ ತುಂಬಾ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಆಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾರಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನೀವು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಿ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್? ಸೊ ತುಂಬಾ ಸತಿ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಆಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾರಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಏನು ಕೂಡ ಅಚೀವ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಹೇಗಾಯ್ತು?
ಹೌದಾ ಮೇಡಮ್, ಆಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ತುಂಬಾನೇ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ನಾನು ಅವಾಗ್ಲಿಂದಾನು ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ಏಬಲ್ಡ್ನವರು ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಒಂದ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗಿ ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ, ಇವಳಂತವಳು ಇವನಂತವನು ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಇದ್ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದ, ಹೌ ಡೇರ್ ದೇ. ಇದು ನಾವ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಲ್ಲೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನ ನೋಡಕಲ್ಲ ಅವರು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಂಥವ್ರು ಈ ತರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಈ ಆಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ತುಂಬಾನೇ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಅವಾಗಡೆ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಹಸ್ಬೆಂಡ್ ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರೀತಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಮದ್ವೆ ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಸೊಸೈಟಿ ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವಳಂತವ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಮದ್ವೆ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ, ನಿಂಗೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂತ. ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಟೆಲ್ ಯು ವೆರಿ ಫ್ರಾಂಕ್ಲಿ, ಎಲ್ರು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಡಿಸಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಹರಾಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ವಿಚ್ ಅಮೌಂಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಸೆಕ್ಷುಯಲ್ ಹರಾಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಟ್, ನಾನ್ ಸ್ವತಃ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿರೋದು ಇವಳಂತವಳು ಅವಳ ಗಂಡನ ಜೊತೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಮದ್ವೆ ಸಂಸಾರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಳೆ, ಹೌ ವಿಲ್ ಶಿ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಅವರ್ ಮ್ಯಾರೇಜ್ ಲೈಫ್, ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ದ ವೇ ಟು ಟಾಕ್. ಸೊ ಈ ಅಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲೇ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಈ ಅಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಸೊಸೈಟಿಯಿಂದ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು, ಅದು ಹೋಗೋವರೆಗೂ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಎ ವೆರಿ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಕೂಲಲ್ಲಿ ಇಬ್ರು ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಲೇಬಲ್ಡ್ ಒಂದೇ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೆಲವ್ರು ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ, ಅದ್ ಹೇಗೆ ನೀವು ಆ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನ ಅಂತ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನ ನೀವು ಈ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿದೀರಾ ಅಂತಾನೆ ತುಂಬಾನೇ ಇದೆ. ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ ಗೈಡು ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಕಲ್ಪನಾ ವೇಣುಗೋಪಾಲ್ ಅವರು ಇದನ್ನ ಶಿ ಟುಕ್ ಎ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್. ಆ ಇಬ್ರು ಮಕ್ಳು ಎಷ್ಟು ಇಂಟೆಲಿಜೆಂಟ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾ ಸರ್, ಬಟ್ ಸೊಸೈಟಿ ಅಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ನೋಡಿ ಹೇಗಿದೆ, ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಮಕ್ಳನ್ನು ಅದೇ ಕಲಿತಾರೆ, ಅದೇ ಬಂದಿರೋದು. ಆ ಅಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಟ್ ನೀಡ್ಸ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ 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 ಲಾಂಗ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಟು ಚೇಂಜ್.
ಎಸ್, ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್. ಸೊ ಆಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ನಿಟ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಕೂಡ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಸೊ ಮುಂದೊಂದಿನ ಬಹುಶಃ ಆ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ನ ನಾವು ಖಂಡಿತವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಕಾಣಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್
ನೀವು ಮಾತಾಡಿ ಆಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ನಮ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಲೇಬಲ್ ನವರೇ ಆಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಹೂ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಚೇಂಜ್ ದೇರ್ ಆಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್.
ಎಸ್
ಲೈಕ್ ಹೌ ಮೈ ಹಸ್ಬೆಂಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಡನ್.
ಎಸ್, ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಆಯ್ತು, ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ದಂಗೆನೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ಸುವಂತದ್ದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಹಂತ ಬರುವಂತದ್ದು ಮ್ಯಾರೇಜ್. ಸೊ ತುಂಬಾ ಜನ ಏನ್ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಾವ್ ಏನೇನೋ ಗೋಲ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ, ಏನೋ ಅಚೀವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ, ಬಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾರೇಜ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ನಾವ್ ಏನನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಅಚೀವ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ 4 ಗೋಡೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಸೀಮಿತ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ತುಂಬಾ ಇರತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಮ್ಯಾರೇಜ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಗೋಲ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ಅಚೀವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನರ್ಸ್ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಹೇಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಮ್ಯಾಮ್?
achieve the goal after marriage.
ಮೇಡಮ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಮ್ಯಾರೇಜ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನನಗೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಏನು ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಒಂದೇ ಕೈಲಿ ಅಡಿಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಒಂದೇ ಕೈಲಿ ಚಪಾತಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಒಂದೇ ಕೈಲಿ ಸೀರೆನೂ ಉಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಲೂ ಏನು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ನಾನು ಹೇಳೋದು ಏನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಲೈಫ್ ಲೀಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೂ ಆ ಸಮಾಜ ಬಿಡಲ್ಲ. ಈ ಆಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಒಂದ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗ್ಲೇಬೇಕು ಮ್ಯಾಮ್. ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಏನೋ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಿದ್ದೆ, ಅದು ಸಡನ್ ಆಗಿ ಮರ್ತ್ಬಿಟ್ಟೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ
in the one point I just wanted to slightly add to what you said. Idu western countries alli there is a greater acceptance anta ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ. Actually ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ what has happened ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ the more than ಇವಾಗ ಜನ ಅಂದ್ರೆ people normally behave almost similarly across countries, but where the change has happened is that there is a infrastructure driven change that has happened. ಇವಾಗ public spaces ಇರಲಿ, public buildings, public spaces, environmental spaces, all spaces that are publicly owned and publicly used in this one are uniformly disabled friendly. Adrinda you go to an airport, you go to a railway station, you go to a mall, you go to public park irli, elle hodrunu, you go to public transport places hogi elle hodrunu station hodaga they are uniformly, so that it is not just in policy but it is also in execution and that ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. my limited point ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೇಳೋದು ಒಂದು, ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾರತ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಆ ತರ ಇರೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ I think more importantly what has happened is that ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಪಾಲಿಸಿ ಇಂದ from policy it has been translated into action ಅಲ್ಲಿ, and you are seeing it and therefore once that has happened ಅಲ್ಲ ಅದು acceptance ಆವಾಗ ನಾವು ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಾವೇನು ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. and then people's attitudes will be the same. My point is that people's attitude ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ different types of people will be there everywhere. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜನ ಸಪೋರ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜನ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಕೆಲವರು ಬೇರೆ ತರ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಹ್ಯಾರಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರಿಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಯೂನಿಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಫಿನಾಮಿನಾನ್ ಅದೊಂದು, ಬಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಒನ್ ರೀಸನ್. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ I think that is one area that we may have to focus closely on working.
Sir, in fact, public places ಅಲ್ಲಿ like mall ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಏರ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ we have separate bathroom facilities with accessibility factor and all that. Airport is actively operating. But for example, ನಾನು forum mall ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಲ್ಲ, the bathroom which is kept aside for differently able, it will not be in a functioning state because not many people go. ನಮ್ಮಂತರ ಅಷ್ಟು ಮಂದಿ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು 30 ಸಲ ಹೋದಾಗ ಜಗಳ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡೆ ಬರೋದು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಈಗ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದಾಗ ಅವಾಗ ಒಂದ್ 2-3 ತಿಂಗಳು ರೆಡಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು ದ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್. ಸೊ ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಏನೆಂದ್ರೆ ಸರ್, ಎಷ್ಟೇ ನಿಮ್ ಪಾಡಿಗೆ ನೀವಿದ್ರು ಈ ಕಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಹೆಸರುಗಳು ಕರೆಯೋದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಅದನ್ನ ಇಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಮೊದ್ಲೇನೆ, ಫುಲ್ಲಿ ಡ್ಯಾಮೇಜ್ ಗುಡ್ ಅಂತ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ ಹೆಸರು ಲಂಗಡಿ ಅಂತ. ಲಂಗಡಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕುಂಟಿ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ ಹೆಸರು ಕಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ, ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಕಿವಿ ಕೇಳಿಸೋದು ಅಂತ. ಬಟ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಡ್ಯಾಮೇಜಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೇನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ನಾನೊಬ್ರು ಈಗ ಒಂದು 3 ವರ್ಷದ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ನನ್ ಕಲೀಗ್, ನನ್ ಜೊತೆ 20 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಜೊತೆಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾಳೆ, ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿ, ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಕುಂಟ್ಲಕಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿವಿ ಸರ್. ಕುಂಟ್ಲಕಡಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಲಿಂಪಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟಿಕ್. ಮನ್ಸ್ ಮುರ್ದೋಯ್ತು. ನಾನು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಬಟ್ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಏನ್ ಆಕ್ಷನ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿಲ್ಲ. ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಏನು ಆಕ್ಷನ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿಲ್ಲ. ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಅವರು ನನ್ಗೆ ಜಯಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀಪುರಂ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟೆ, ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಏನು ಆಕ್ಷನ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳ. ಅವರು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ತಹಸೀಲ್ದಾರ್ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ತಹಸೀಲ್ದಾರ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮ್ಗೆ ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ವುಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಮಿಷನ್ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ವುಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಮಿಷನ್ ಕೌನ್ಸಿಲ್ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾರೆ ಎನ್ಕ್ವೈರಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ. ಏನ್ ಎನ್ಕ್ವೈರಿ ಆಯ್ತು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಈ ಆಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಸರ್, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್, ಏನೇ ಲೆಜಿಸ್ಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಂದ್ರು ಅದು ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್, ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಪಾಲಿಸೀಸ್ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇದನ್ನ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಮೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಎ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಚೆಕ್.
I think it's a very important point. I think in Lirovarg, at least, I think close to about 60-70 people, and maybe all those people who will watch it on YouTube also. I think there's an important lesson ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. One that ಇದನ್ನ ಒಂದು sometimes we think saying all these things are ಒಂದು for fun or social media ಯಾಕೆ ಹಾಕ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ನೀವು ನೋಡಿ, they do it because they want the likes, they want recognition. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ನಾನು ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ತಮಾಷೆಗೆ ಹಾಕಿದೆ, ಅದು ನಾವು ಎಷ್ಟು ರಿಯಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ನೋವಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ರಿಯಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದೇ ನಾವು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಕಾಣುತ್ತೆ. I think the more we have become technologically advanced, the less we are becoming human ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಹೇಳಿದಿರಲ್ಲ. I think the most important thing is for us to be human ಅನ್ನೋದು. The other point that I wanted to ask is, we were close to about 10 minutes ಇದೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ. What are your future plans? ನೀವು ಇದನ್ನ ಹೇಗೆ, how do you want to, where do you see yourself, say 5 years from now, 3 years from now? What are the things what are your dreams? What do you want to do?
Sir, during this corona period, I came to know that the differently able, they were not even getting their pension. And during that corona period, government announced so many schemes for all different types of people, but not for my people. And I could make out how much they were suffering. Sir, we are a proud people. We don't want to beg. We want to work and we will not beg. So I could make out how much they were suffering. And that is why I took the initiative to distribute groceries twice to these people. And that is why I have been named as COVID warrior. But at that time, what I came to know is that they do not have legal access to go and address their grievances. I asked, ಯಾಕೆ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕೇಸ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬಾರ್ದು ಮೇಡಮ್, ದುಡ್ಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಯಾವ ಲಾಯರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅವಾಗ ಅದೊಂದು ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. I want to start two NGOs exclusively for my people. ಒಂದು, to provide legal assistance. ಈ ಫ್ರೀ ಲೀಗಲ್ ಅಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಸುಮಾರು ನನ್ನ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ lawyers ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವ್ರ ಮೂಲಕ. ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಜೈನಾ ಕೊತಾರಿ, she is one of the one who brought promotion for blind people. She is a Supreme Court advocate and she is the one who has taken my case also, and she does it freely for differently able. ಸೊ ಆ ತರ ಫ್ರೀ ಲೀಗಲ್ ಅಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ನಮ್ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಒಂದು ಗೋಲು. ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ ಇಂದ, ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಇಂದ, ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ನನ್ನ ಗೋಲು. ಎರಡನೇದು, ಜಾಬ್ ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟೀಸ್. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ಡಿಫೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಏಬಲ್ ಬಾಡಿಡ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಇದೆ, ಒಪ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಸರ್, ಡೆಸ್ಕ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಕೊಡಕ್ ಏನಾಯ್ತು, ರೈಟಿಂಗ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಕೊಡಕ್ ಏನಾಯ್ತು, ಡಿಫೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾಕೆ ಈ ಕೋಟ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಫೈಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತಗೊಂಡ್ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಮೈ ದಿಸ್ ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ ಟು ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್, find out where employment opportunities are there and pass that information to them, and also get tie up with companies and all that. So some part of the job according to the need of the people is also provided. These are my two things which I want to do. This is my future plan, and most probably I may do it in another 2 or 3 years. I am planning my future for that, and I hope God gives me this opportunity to give back to the society for what they have given to me. And of course, I know my husband will be a very good supporter. Otherwise, he will have it with me. And my son also will definitely have. And all my colleagues, my friends, and my guide, especially Dr. Kalpana Venugopal, she will definitely, they're all for it. So, but these are my dreams, which is my future.
Two dreams. One is to provide some sort of a legal assistance. Is it going to be
legal assistance, and another is to provide job opportunity. Find out where job opportunities are available.
It's going to be one NGO that is going to be providing both.
Yeah.
The NGO that will provide legal assistance to people who are differently abled, and then also ensure that they become the opportunities to make them employable would be offered. So these are two things which are both interesting. And this question that, one of the things about the army that you asked is also very interesting. I think on the argument that has been successfully made is that you have to be physically able to join the army, but your point about desk work is not something that even I thought about, which is a very valid point.
Physically able, you will go to the field to do the work. You can sit in the desk, isn't it?
So
radio, ham, and all that, you can sit in the desk and do for physically challenged.
Correct.
Those who are having hearing problem, at least they can do record keeping and all that. So there are opportunities. This is my dream.
Okay, so I think that's a good point at which to, a very positive and hopeful point at which we can, pause for some time, and, thank you for giving us this opportunity to interact with you. I have to now, hand it over to Dr. Sudhir, who is going to give his closing remarks and give his thoughts on this session.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good evening, everybody. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Sir.
Good evening, everybody. That was truly amazing last 45 minutes that I was listening to. I have heard, not all of them, I have participated in quite a few amazing ability lecture series. But what sets probably this apart is the way Miss Anita Ravindra explained the discrimination that she sort of faced in a very matter-of-fact way. Yes, I am like this, and my colleagues were like that. Though she was hurt, I mean, very dispassionately she explained how she felt and how she could not really get them punished also. We could see everything there. And in fact, personally speaking, now yaradru, before I started watching all this and before I started getting engaged with this differently abled people, the first reaction, as you explained, madam, was sympathy. Yo papa then we sort of get disturbed looking at that, how disabled they are, how difficult it is for them to carry on it all. And we don't think further. Problem here, it is not our job. It is the government. Somebody has to do it. It's not our job. We don't want to think about it. We don't want to look back. We don't want to associate. That explains the parents' reluctance to put their children in the same class as differently abled children. But of course, having listened to so many of the amazing differently abled people and looking at what you all people have achieved, now I think we have to grow over the disabilities in our attitude, the so-called normal people. And there is a very, very good example sitting next to you, how you can change how you can come over your disability in your own attitude, because Mr. Ravindra never let all your different abilities, or if you can call disabilities, to come in the way of his love towards you, and he has been supporting you. And I think there is a great example in Miss Anita supporting the different, having plans and already having supported differently able people and having plans to support the differently able people by establishing so many legal assistance and so many other things. And in Mr. Ravindra, as to how a normal society can support you. You are a very ideal couple for the society, and I think this story should reach the maximum number of so-called normal, in inverted commas, people. And I think this is the way forward. We should all strive together to change the attitude of the normal people towards this. And then probably the life will change for the better for all the amazing differently able people. Hats off to you, man. Hats off to you, sir. Thank you. It was really amazing interacting, listening to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sudhir. And your point about both of them working together, cricket is a game of partnerships, whether you bowl or bat.
Yeah.
So I think this is a perfect cricketing axiom that we can use for this partnership.
Yeah, it's a good partnership.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And so it's been an absolute pleasure, like I said, interacting with both of you. More power to both of you, more power, and hope you continue to inspire more people, and hope you all your dreams get fulfilled, and all the issues and challenges that you're currently faced with, time is the biggest healer. I think all of that could get sorted out on their own. So, wonderful. Thank you on behalf of SVYM, on behalf of B-Lead, on behalf of all of the organizations for having taken time out to share your experiences with us.
There is one thing I would like to say that
Sure.
God has given me one very good character. I mean, a future of mine. Is that I may get hurt now, I may cry for today, but I bounce back tomorrow. So I'm happy for what I have received, for everything, and I'm very happy that I've been given an opportunity in your platform to air my issues also. And please let me make it clear that these issues explained was not because of what I have faced, because it is something that I want for my people to have a platform. I'm fighting for my people now. I'm not fighting for Anita. I'm fighting for my people now. That is the main aspect. So thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your experiences and inspiring us. We wish you all the best for your further plans.
Thank
Dear,
you.
yes, dear participants, ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ತಿಳಿದಿರೋ ಹಾಗೆ ನಾವು 12 ಎಪಿಸೋಡ್ಸ್ ನ ಸಕ್ಸಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇವತ್ತು 13th ಎಪಿಸೋಡ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲರದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಬಲ್ ಫೀಡ್ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ನ ತಗೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಮ್ದು ಫೀಡ್ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ಎಪಿಸೋಡ್ ಆದ ನಂತರ ನಾವು ಫೀಡ್ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟ್ಸ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ರೀಚ್ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಮ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಬಲ್ ಫೀಡ್ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ನ ನಮಗೆ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಫರ್ದರ್ ಇದನ್ನ ಹೇಗೆ ನಾವು ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಸಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ತಗೊಂಡೋಗ್ಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇದನ್ನ ಇನ್ನು ಬೆಟರ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾವು ತಗೊಂಡೋಗ್ಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ವಿ ಲುಕ್ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯುವರ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಬಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಫೀಡ್ಬ್ಯಾಕ್. Once again, thanks for all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks for the opportunity, sir.
Thank you, Anita ma'am. Thank you, Ravindra sir.
Thank you,
Super,
ma'am.
sir, thank you.